Who can resist watching a relaxing wilderness building video when they can't sleep? This is AK. After a failed blind date, returning to the wilderness. The jungle is still a frozen, snow-covered land, just like his mood at this moment. Fortunately, there was a secret place that lets him temporarily forget his troubles. Here, he can be himself freely. AK brought a lot of equipment this time. He plans to stay in the wild for a while longer. Opening the door, a familiar feeling rushes over him. To his surprise, he unexpectedly received a mysterious gift. This is a rare surprise for him these days. Filled with anticipation, AK quickly opens it. It turns out to be a few nameplates. Written on them is, "This shelter is not a villain's lair. This is a place to relax. Any traveler can warm up and spend the night here." This is actually exactly what AK had hoped for. When he built this shelter, one reason was to escape the secular world's troubles, and the second was to provide a place to stay for fellow wilderness enthusiasts. After a brief moment of reflection, he must quickly warm up his body and the shelter. After all, the severe cold of Siberia is no joke. Fortunately, he had already stored enough firewood. It didn't take much effort to light the stove. In this cold, blizzard weather, there's nothing better than brewing a cup of hot tea. While the water boils, he can organize the supplies he brought from his hometown. This time he brought insulation materials, gasoline, lubricating oil, and heat-resistant paint, which he will be able to use soon. Considering safety, he stored the oily items under the bed for isolation. After all, if something goes wrong with this stuff, there's no second chance. After organizing all the supplies and thinking about the cold wilderness, he knows the weather will continue to worsen. AK immediately decides to add another layer of insulation to the shelter to reinforce it. As the most cautious man in the wild, he even extravagantly uses a roll of cooking foil. The insulating and heat-reflecting effect is excellent. With his personal safety secured, AK prepares to hang the nameplates by the door so that passers-by can see the message. Smoke curls from the chimney outside the shelter. AK can finally quiet down and enjoy the beautiful view from his front door. The stove has been used quite a bit, and a lot of soot has accumulated on the chimney. Being a tidy person, AK immediately cleans it. If this guy were in Chengdu, he'd probably be very popular. As an extremely meticulous man, the items inside the house must also be stored in a neat and orderly fashion. Life in the wild is like this. You can do these small things at your own pace without having to pay attention to the world's hustle and bustle. After cleaning the shelter inside and out, it's time to enjoy this rare moment of solitude. Warm, romantic candles are a must. Although the food is simple, paired with the relaxing environment, the feeling is wonderful. Tonight, he can finally get a good night's sleep. Today, AK woke up to find the windows covered in a thick layer of ice. To keep an eye on the weather, AK decides to replace the old thermometer with a new, more cold-resistant model. As far as the eye can see, it is a world of ice and snow. The temperature is as low as -15 degrees Celsius. Fortunately, the stove provides him with warmth. He quickly makes a cup of hot tea and finally feels alive again. AK finally has the peace of mind to enjoy the beautiful snowy scenery. In high-latitude regions, the days are always short. In the blink of an eye, the outdoors is already dimly lit. The temperature has also plummeted to -25 degrees. Considering it might continue to snow heavily at night, the snow around the shelter must be cleared away. This will prevent the risk of the wooden cabin collapsing. To ensure he doesn't sleep here forever, AK also installs a smoke detector inside the shelter. After all, the snow makes the cabin more airtight. This guy's safety awareness is top-notch. Many netizens were worried that dust would fall from the walls while he slept and suggested he hang a tapestry on the wall by the bed. AK happily accepts this suggestion. A moment later, the shelter immediately feels cozier. The color scheme fits the shelter's character perfectly. The only thing is, The mural has to be moved. Then he lays down a bedsheet. You wouldn't think that Ake, from the fighting nation, could have such a gentle side. With the leftover piece of tapestry, he cuts it to fit and places it at the entrance. Now the shelter has a doormat. After finishing these tasks, still feeling a bit uneasy, he lights a match to test the smoke detector on the spot. Now his worried heart can finally rest. Lately, while sleeping, he keeps hearing the sounds of wild animals. To figure out what's going on, Ake decides to install a hunting camera in the wilderness. This way, when an animal passes by, the thermal camera will capture it. While he was busy, the sky completely darkened. The warm light of the lamp, accompanied by the bright moonlight, creates a unique atmosphere. Tonight, Ake decides to eat a traditional meal. He cracks 2 eggs into a bowl, pours in half a bottle of milk and a little salt, mixes it well, soaks some bread in it, and pan-fries it in a hot pan. Then he adds a few slices of cheese. Half an hour later, the entire cabin is filled with the aroma of Russian-style fried bread. Paired with the relaxing, romantic candlelight, eating dinner is a great pleasure. It's just that the cold air outside is unforgiving, making him shiver. Still worried about the shelter's ventilation, he goes outside and dismantles the chimney to clean the soot out again. After this concern is taken care of, Ake climbs into his sleeping bag and drifts off to sleep. The next day, Ake slept in. It's another clear and crisp day. Due to high latitude regions, the snow here shows no signs of melting. The upside is he doesn't have to worry about water. He easily collects a bucket of snow and just needs to place it by the stove to melt. While the snow is melting, Ake takes out his long, unused saw. He plans to cut some wooden planks to reinforce the shelter's inner walls. He hasn't gone far when a rotten fallen tree catches his eye. Trolls are always questioning if he has a team behind him, since the planks he uses are always so smooth and even. Today, Ake will prove himself with his actions. In fact, cutting planks like this doesn't require a team or large machinery. You just need strong arms and a precise technique. By repeating this process, you can get planks as good as any from a cutting machine. This is a classic, looks easy until you try it task. You can easily try it at home. For Ake, it doesn't look too difficult, but it's definitely not something that can be done in a moment. The process of cutting the planks took him a full 5 hours. By the time he carried all the planks back home, the sky had darkened without him noticing. That's how it is near the Arctic Circle. The days get shorter and the nights get longer. Ake has to work with a light on. Back in the shelter, the snow he stored before he left has melted into water. He can finally make a cup of tea to relieve his fatigue. To his dismay, the indoor temperature is only a pitiful 15 degrees. Ake dares not to rest for too long. He decides to use the planks he cut during the day to reinforce the shelter. Fortunately, he's a regular viewer of wilderness construction videos. He just needs to cut the planks to the right size and then fix them to the wall piece by piece. When it comes to the corners of the window, Ake is a master. He perfectly cuts out the space for the window without an extra millimeter to spare. To make the window more beautiful and practical, Ake immediately builds a windowsill. He pours himself a cup of tea. Sitting by the window during the day, looking at the snow, is an unbeatable feeling. Then he quickly finishes installing the remaining wall panels. Being a man who cares about details, even for the inside of the window, he has to install a window frame. Finally, he can tidy up properly. After sitting down, he realizes the shelter still has quite a few drafty gaps. He must install insulation cotton in them. By the time he's done with all this, it's already late at night. Considering the cold weather means he'll use a lot of firewood, Ake turns on his light and chops enough dry wood. It has been a hard but fulfilling day. He can finally wash up and end the day's work. For dinner, he plans to have potato pancakes. He peels the potatoes, adds an onion, then grates them, adds an egg, 2 spoonfuls of flour, and a little salt. He just needs to mix it evenly, then slowly pan-fry it in hot oil. A short while later, a serving of Russian-style fried bread is ready. In his local dialect, they are called draniki. Served with sour cream, the taste is excellent. Although the food looks simple, who cares about such things when you're starving in the wild? Another simple yet fulfilling day. As the blizzards worsen, walking in the wild becomes increasingly difficult. Ake has to put on skis to overcome the obstruction of the deep snow. Returning to the shelter, Ake brings more gear for life in the wild. Due to 2.5 months of continuous snowfall, the shelter is now almost completely buried. The temperature is as low as -14 degrees. As a southerner, I have truly never seen such deep snow. Ake doesn't have time to worry about that. The priority is to get a fire going and raise the temperature. Fortunately, when he built this shelter, the workmanship was solid. There are no leaks or drafts. He just needs to light